how does E. Jean Carroll get the money she is entitled to?
Good news. It is that there are appeal bonds that can be put in place to make sure there is a pot of money there to satisfy this $83 million damages award that the jury just handed down at the end of the appeals process. And we all know the appeals process can take some time. But, you know, unlike when somebody is putting up a bond to try to get out on bail, ordinarily they have to put up maybe 10% of whatever it is the court is ordering by way of bail. However, when it comes to an appeals bond, Joy, ordinarily the overwhelming majority of appeals in civil suits are affirmed. So that makes this really challenging for Donald Trump. In order to get an appeal bond, he very likely will have to put up most or all of the $83 million so that there is a pot of money that can be paid to E. Jean Carroll at the end of the appeals process. He'll have to put it up either in cash, and wasn't he just bragging that he has $400 million on hand? I'm betting he doesn't. Or he'll have to put it up with unencumbered property. And I can only wonder how much equity he actually has in some of the properties he owns. So, you know what? There is going to be a pot of money, and E. Jean Carroll's lawyers have been determined. They've been dogged, and they're going to continue to fight to make sure this appropriate money judgment gets satisfied.
That is actually good news and good to know. Rev, you know this man. He has not just been accused of being a sex pest by E. Jean Carroll. I'm just going to put up the numbers here. The number of women who've accused him of sexual misconduct: Jessica Leeds, Kristen Anderson, Jill Hart, E. Jean Carroll. I can go on and on and on. You go all the way down, all of those women. Here is the way that he has responded to some of those accusations. Here's Donald Trump shaming the women who have accused him.
She said I made inappropriate advances. And by the way, the area was a public area, people all over the place. Take a look. You take a look. Look at her words. You tell me what you think. I don't think so. I don't think so. When you looked at that horrible woman last night, you said, I don't think so. Oh, I was with Donald Trump in 1980. I was sitting with him on an airplane. And he went after me on the plane. Yeah, I'm going to go after. Believe me, she would not be my first choice, that I can tell you. Man. You don't know. That would not be my first choice.
Sounds like exactly what he said about E. Jean Carroll, Rev. Back with me, Glenn Kirschner, April Ryan, and Reverend Al Sharpton. Glenn, let's talk about this Adult Survivors Act. Governor Kathy Hochul of New York signed it into law in 2022, and it's actually been a boon to victims of sexual assault. More than 2,500 lawsuits filed. It gave a year for people to come in, and it got rid of the statute of limitations. E. Jean Carroll was one of the first to use it, but it's also been used by people who have accused the criminal justice system in New York of them having survived rape under the criminal justice system. Some of the people who've been accused include Harvey Weinstein, Sean P. Diddy Combs, Bill Cosby, Russell Brand, Rudy Giuliani. Talk about the power of this law and E. Jean Carroll's place in history for using it this way.
You know, Joy, it's so important because in sexual offense crimes, in rape cases, I handled rape cases, I handled sexual assault of children. You know, ordinarily, people do not rush forward to share their victimization with anybody, not with law enforcement. Can you imagine being sexually assaulted and then sitting down and laying bare the experience you just went through with strangers, police officers, grand jurors, prosecutors, trial jurors in a public forum where the audience could be packed with people who were there to support the perpetrator? Is it any wonder that people are reluctant to come forward when they have been the victim of sexual assault? And then what do they get for actually reporting and following through with a prosecution? They get raked over the coals and they get called a liar about what happened to them, just like E. Jean Carroll suffered. Is it any wonder there is at best delayed reporting of sexual crimes? You know, it's so important, I think, that we open it up and we give victims a fair opportunity to have their victimization addressed and to have their perpetrator held accountable. So, and now you are seeing how it can bear fruit, because Donald Trump has now been held accountable for his sexual battery, which the first jury found he in fact committed, and for his repeated incessant defamation by lying about what he had done to E. Jean Carroll. So I applaud the state of New York and the lawmakers who saw the wisdom of opening it up and actually supporting sexual assault victims.